Could RFK Jr.'s MAHA movement ban candy and soda from food stamps? Well, 15 states have put forth bills asking the federal government to allow cuts to be made to the SNAP food program. So here to break all of this down for us is BlazeTV host of the 4-Minute Buzz, Hilary Kennedy. So Hilary, thanks so much for coming in, because I know that you love this topic. Like, this is something that you're personally invested in. So I love when we get people on the show like that, because when we look at this MAHA movement, is there a chance to actually go through and make America healthier?
Absolutely, and they are off to the races. Things are actually finally really happening. And I think making changes to the SNAP program, otherwise known as food stamps, it's going to make a big impact long term if they can stick with this. And one of the main things, and RFK Jr. talked about this when they were running for election, is that they want to get rid of sugary sodas being one of the things that you can buy with food stamps, because we know that they're bad for you. But the soda companies are not going down without a fight, so they have now recruited conservative influencers to try and tell you your freedoms are being restricted if you can't get soda. So there's an investigative journalist named Lee Fang, and he exposed this covert campaign by the soda industry to kind of influence public opinion against these proposed nutritional guidelines to the SNAP program. Now, it's been uncovered, and we've realized that these conservative influencers were being paid up to $1,000 to post saying, soda's really not that bad for you. Like, this is America. We should be able to choose whatever we want. When we know that drinking sugary sodas is not good for anybody. Now, we live in a free country. It is totally your right if you want to drink sugary sodas, but it's definitely not helping the MAHA movement when you have these influencers parroting what they're being told by a PR firm.
It's an instructive moment, isn't it? Because this is exactly the problem. This is exactly the problem. First off, SNAP, I mean, you're giving money to people so they can buy food. Well, then you have every right to tell them what they can buy and not buy with the money you're giving them. And you'd want them to buy healthy food. I mean, this is not even, it shouldn't even be a debate in my mind. But the problem comes, don't you think, when even people on the right are posting, and part of the reason they found these posts is because they were all posting the same thing. They took the bullet points, give me the check, I'll copy and paste it. And my interpretation of it was something like this. It went along like this. Hello, fellow MAGA influencer. Freedom is good. Soda is freedom. Therefore, soda is good. I mean, that was the argument. People should be free to do what they want with our money. The reaction to this, though, suggests that maybe we are moving forward. I mean, because there's a tension between big corporate paying off people and this whole dynamic. So how do you read, what's the aftermath of this?
Well, so some of the soda companies, we've seen them do this before, where they were paying people to protest at these rallies where I believe it was in San Francisco, they were proposing a tax on sweetened beverages. And so the soda companies were paying people like $13 an hour to go out and protest that. But the smart soda companies are now trying to pivot a little bit and go, okay, so if people aren't wanting to drink sweetened sodas, they're realizing they want to take control of their health, what can we do? So PepsiCo just acquired Poppi, which is kind of one of those alternative soda brands. It's a probiotic, for $1.65 billion. They also bought Siete Foods, which is also a healthier kind of potato chip brand. I think they make tortillas and some other things. So I brought for you to try, it's Olipop, which is also another one of those brands.
Right,
I believe it's like 5 grams of sugar, 35 calories. So you can try it and tell me what you think. But people, it's not quite the same as your traditional soda, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, right? Because we are trying to make some healthier choices these days. So yeah, you'll have to let me know what you think.
Yeah, so I had the classic grape. He has the root beer because I hate root beer. And so, sorry, that's the one you got.
And the ones that you're drinking, so this Olipop, it's a prebiotic soda. It recently hit a $1.85 billion valuation after turning a profit for the very first time with $400 million in sales. So Coca-Cola put out some research saying functional beverages like these, they're supposed to generate about $2 billion in sales by 2029. So everything is kind of shifting in this direction, which I think is fantastic.
This is 40 calories, 5 grams of sugar, 10% juice. I'll say it's pretty good. Like, honestly, for just a grape soda,
it's kind of like
good.
When you eat a veggie burger.
Yeah, no.
It's not going to taste like the regular
But this actually
burger,
doesn't, like this, I wouldn't notice if you just threw this in versus like a different grape soda. Like, maybe it has less carbonation than the rest of them. But otherwise, like, taste-wise, it's very similar.
Mine only has 35 calories. You knew I needed some extra help. It's very interesting to me that It's good. I mean, it doesn't taste like root beer at the Pizza Hut when you were 5 in
Right.
the 80s.
Nothing does.
It is good. You could see drinking it, getting used to it. It's good stuff. We've had this before in our house. So the valuations though are telling a tale, right? I mean, it sounds like what's going on is big corporate is realizing people want this sort of thing.
Yes.
And these that's why the valuations are so high. They see the market value and how they have to shift. Does that mean they're going to become good or?
I don't know if they're going to become good, but I do think they realize we're willing to spend our dollars on these kinds of items because we know it's better for us in the long run. So this is a slightly more expensive soda than getting, say, a Coca-Cola. But there are also restaurants like Steak and Shake. They are now going to be using beef tallow. They're not using the harmful seed oils anymore. Is that going to cost them more in the long run? Yes, instead of using, the cheap oils that the other restaurants have used. But are we willing to pay more for that now, knowing that it will be less in medical bills later? I think most people will. So I think it's a smart thing for these companies to make this move. Sweet Greens is another company that it was already kind of a healthy, quick serve restaurant. But they have also decided to make their fries with tallow and healthier oils. People love that. They said that they did it because they heard from the customers, and same thing with Steak and Shake. This was a bold move for them. Their CEO or COO, Dan Edwards, he said, "We don't try to be all things to all people. That's the surest way to disappoint. Our job is to give customers the absolute best of burgers, fries, and shakes. It's an individual's job to decide on what's healthy for them." But on social media, they said, "Nothing will stop our crusade to lead in the MAHA movement," alongside with an image of a red baseball cap reading, "Make frying oil tallow again." So he said they love the taste of it. And if you've ever had fries done in tallow versus like a whatever other oil, canola oil, or whatever it is, they do taste much better.
And this is going back to the 1985
Yes.
McDonald's in this case, right? I
Yes.
mean, at some point they switched out of tallow, and it was worse for everybody.
Absolutely. Totally agree.
So I look at a company like Siete, you mentioned them earlier, because my other super healthy friends were very upset when they were purchased by, big industry here. Do we think, though, that they're actually going to stick with the changes, like the healthier food that they've essentially made already? Or is these big businesses, are they going to come through and say, okay, but we need to make things cheaper, faster, more efficient, and actually take away all the things that we liked about these brands in the first place?
I think they could try, but this day and age, people are watching like hawks now. I think they could have gotten away with it 10 years ago, not anymore. People are paying attention to what's on the labels, what ingredients they're ingesting, and they're looking to see, are we going to hold these brands accountable or not? And there's power in numbers. And if we're all watching and we see that they're changing, because who is it? Was it Chick-fil-A? Someone recently just tweaked their recipe a little bit and people flipped out because everybody is now paying attention. So I think they could try and get away with it, but it's not going to fly, and people will speak with their dollars for sure.
So let's talk about seed oils a little bit. What is the problem with seed oils? I mean, this is an incredible thing to see this going from something that maybe, health nuts knew in the 70s. My parents, I guess I could include among them, they were aware of this. And you saw it grow in sort of online corners, the last 8 years or so. And now you have, restaurants saying we're seed oil free.
Yeah, I think, it really got popular on podcasts in the last several years when people were talking about, I work out, I eat healthy, but I cannot lose weight. And there were a couple of dietitians and nutritionists that were kind of on the fringes that said, it's the seed oils. If you stop eating the seed oils, because it's in all of the, quote, healthy foods. So, I buy lots of things from Central Market, Whole Foods, healthier Sprouts, healthier grocery stores, but seed oils are in 90% of what I buy. And I think it is true. It is making it harder for Americans and people all over the world to lose weight. But we see it in our products here in America primarily. So these restaurants are hearing from customers saying, you know what, I've been doing some research on these. I keep hearing about them on TV and in podcasts. This is not good for me. What do you have on your menu that doesn't contain seed oils? And they're scrambling to figure out, like, okay, do we ditch it all together? Do we use the tallow? And so a lot of restaurants are slowly making that change. I mentioned Steak and Shake. There's some more besides Sweet Greens. There's a couple, was it Jimmy John's? There's a couple of different quick serve places that are making those changes because people are going to go where they get Outback Steakhouse, Popeyes, and Buffalo Wild Wings. A lot of them have either been using beef tallow for years or they're now slowly heading that direction. I think it's great.
So there's something else that's super controversial, right? That's fluoride. And we know that Utah is set to ban fluoride in the drinking water. So what is damaging about fluoride? What do we know about it? What does it do?
Okay, so RFK Jr. went on X and he actually posted about this saying fluoride is an industrial waste associated with arthritis, bone fractures, bone cancer, IQ loss, neurodevelopmental disorders, and thyroid disease. There's been all these studies that show that children who have a lot of exposure to fluoride have lower IQs. So he's saying this should not be in our water. If you want to fluoridate your water yourself, go for it. But we shouldn't be forcing people to drink fluoridated water, knowing what we know now about it. So the Utah legislature passed HB 81, which would make Utah the very first state to ban fluoride in public drinking water, which I also think is a pretty bold move.
Yeah, this used to be something that everyone called a conspiracy theory, and now, I don't know what the truth is, but I wouldn't be surprised if RFK isn't right about it.
All of our conspiracy theories are coming true now, Peterson. That's the problem.
Yes, no, exactly. Every day that goes by, it does. So what's interesting about this is just this clearly is a movement, right? It's clearly a cultural shift that's being instantiated or being solidified by RFK Jr. being in the Trump administration. And now you're seeing all these people make moves and actually do things along these lines. And it looks to me like it's just growing. It's not facing a lot of obstacles. Do you think?
No, it hasn't been. And I think that this is what we needed. We needed one trusted voice in the administration that people respected, admired, and who comes across as pretty bipartisan, and RFK Jr. fits that bill. And I think people really respect what he has to say on these issues. And he's not an extremist. Right. He's someone he's very moderate on a lot of his views, and I think people really respect that. He's not some kind of wacko hippie fringe person that you look at and you go, I don't know. He really knows his stuff. And so I think that's why a lot of these cities and these states are taking him seriously and going, you know what? People are listening to him. We better listen to him too and make changes accordingly.